Welcome everyone. This is very exciting for us all. There's been lots of work going on, so it's great to see you all here. So welcome to the launch of the Cooperative Women's Challenge.
A recent review of the membership of the cooperative confirms that over 2/3 of members of the cooperative group are women. But within the democratic structure in 2010, women made up only 1/3 of the area committee members, less than a quarter of regional board members, and were a fifth of the group board. This was and is clearly not an acceptable position. In addition, recent research commissioned by the Cooperative Group and Co-ops UK highlights barriers that consciously or unconsciously are being put in the way of women's participation.
There is a bit of a, hello, we just realised women are 50% of the world. Let's see what we can do together. Well, not even what we can do together. It's actually senior women in the companies saying what we can do to move into a leadership role. But I feel very passionately, and again, we spoke about this last night over dinner, that just moving into leadership roles in the same world that we live in the same paradigm that's clearly not working, that we only have to turn on our televisions or read our newspapers to see that the economy, political situation here and globally is just crumbling around. We've seen Greece this week. Thank God for tennis, so we had a bit of light relief. But it's just been one really terrible story after another, and it is time for change, and it is time for change in a different way.
And I am also concerned about equality in our businesses. I'm an area representative for the cooperative group, which is a large employer, and I'm concerned about gender equality in that group.
And I think the important thing for me as a woman is that to come to a conference like this, I think we're women first, recognising our individual or different needs is important, but we still come back together because we're still women, and we need to have shared values which we ascribe to that are universal enough, that don't put my values before anybody else's or vice versa, and that we can respect that space.
In the UK, we write something called the Female FTSE Report, which is an annual look at the demographic composition of boards and executive committees of corporate UK PLC, so it's all the listed companies. You can see the figures here. They're very disappointing, and what's really disappointing is they really haven't changed very much since 1999. The sort of headline figure that you see in the news a lot is 12.5%. That is women sitting on corporate boards, whether in executive or non-executive positions. The figure that we try and focus on even more is this 5.5%, which is female executive directors. So the directors who actually run these organisations on a daily basis. The figure is only 5.5%. So actually, in the co-op, you're probably not doing too badly. So, the bottom line is there is still fundamentally a major glass ceiling to leadership. It has gone up over the last 20 years. There are far more women in middle management and even approaching senior management levels, but there's still a very, very solid glass ceiling there.
And I wonder whether you felt there was an opportunity for the cooperative group to really steal a march on this. So in advance of quotas, in advance of legislation which will inevitably come, is this an opportunity for us, the new opportunity for the cooperative?
Yes, absolutely. And I keep saying, Mervyn's holding the quota card in his back pocket. He doesn't want to use it. Nobody wants it. So that it's just kind of a kick up the backside, really, to say now is the time. And I think now is the time for a number of reasons. Now is the time in a way that perhaps 10 or 15 years wasn't. 10 or 15 years ago wasn't, because actually there really genuinely are significant bodies of women at senior management levels or coming up through the pipeline. So it's very difficult. You can't go into any sort of situation and say, right, impose a quota if there genuinely aren't the talented, qualified individuals to do it. What our research has shown over the last 10 years is this is not a supply line problem. This is not a lack of talent problem. We have the women there. It's all around the last little bit, the appointment process and all the problems around that. So
when I started 30 years ago, there were no women on the executive. There were no senior women managers. You could probably have counted the middle managers on one hand. It was a very lonely place. Today, there are 2 members on the group executive as myself and there's Jill Barr, who is the Group Marketing Director. But 8 are men. Go the next level down, there's a pool of 28, 2 are women, but 26 are men. And apologies to my colleagues from CFS, these are trading group figures I'm quoting. Go the next level down to roll band 1, a third are women, so that means 2/3 are men. And it's not actually until you get to the more junior levels of roll band 5 where more women managers than there are men. So a lot of people like to point out that we're making progress. We've got 2 women on the executive, fantastic. But actually, that's really just the start. There's an awful lot that still needs to be done. So what are we doing for employees? Well, part of it is about creating a culture where everybody can thrive, irrespective of their gender or their ethnicity.
I ticked quite a few boxes when I first came on committee because I was only 21 and I was female and a single parent. Happy days. But it worries me that 17 years on, I'm still one of the youngest women on the committee. But I'm getting older now. But I think as ambassadors, every one of us sitting round here, have got a responsibility to engage with other females within our local communities. This is not just the business side that's got the responsibility. Each and every one of us have.
I think we've all had a great time. We've all been inspired, but the challenge is not just to go home and go, "Whoa, wasn't that great?" But the challenge is to take that inspiration and turn it into action. We need to talk, we need to tell others, we need to inspire, we need to argue, we need to take up the challenge. We need to act, to stand, to get qualified, and to continue to challenge, to find a route to be heard. And we must be all prepared to be part of the change, so that by 2020, we will actually be able to truly sign up to the cooperative principle of equality.
I thought today was an exceptional conference. It is certainly the best organised conference that I have ever been to. I think the Queen's Hotel here, I've been to conferences here before, but I think they have done a magnificent job. But I also think the organising committee and the way everybody has pulled together as a team has been absolutely exceptional. The other thing which has really impressed me, as this is my very first cooperative event, has been the friendliness of 300 people, 300 strangers. Everybody has mucked in, everybody has been helping each other out, and has been really, really friendly.
I think because I've come here with the West Midlands Area Committee hat on, it's to go to mid-counties and say to them what's going on in mid-counties. Now, I know they've got a tremendous reputation for their employment policies and procedures and such like, but it's now what is actually going on there within a different cooperative society to find out what's happening in the independents. Because there's 300 women turned up today. That says a lot for the cooperative movement. It's now getting all the cooperative societies to work together.